In this lesson, I'm going to show you something that's called tab leaders. That's what you see here that I'm showing you over on the right. That's the separation between the president and the name. It's a very simple thing to do. You just have to be focused when you're working on it so you don't make any mistake. Once you set up one, then you'll be able to copy that or be able to use it over and over. So the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and enter some text, and then we're going to open up the tab window itself. So we're going to go ahead and set up the text. We'll get the settings for the size, the font, all those things that we want to use. And once we do that, then we'll go under type and we'll select the tabs menu function. And once we get in there, we're going to select the right justified tab, so that way the text will be to the right, flush to the right. And this point we're going to use 4.45 inches. That'll put it where it's going to go right over to the right side. Then we're going to use something called a leader that's going to be anything you want to use, but in this case we're going to use a period. So you'd put the period in there, and then you would just hit tab one time, and then you can type in the name that you want. And then you can hit enter, and you can continue to type in what you need, hit tab, and then you can type in the name again, and just continue with that all the way through. So it's not a very difficult task to put together. We go ahead and add a few more names here so I can show you the next piece that we want to do. So we'll get that set up, and then we can use it again later over on the right and just change it just a little bit. So we'll go ahead and put those three in, and then we'll go ahead and hit enter, and we'll complete one more, and then we'll add some text below that. And we could go all the way through and complete the whole thing. We'll do that later, let you do that on your own. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and put in some text for the next part where it says a special thanks. So we're just going to center align the text there, make it a bold. We would do that under the font. So under Avenir, we would actually choose, and the choice there under that is going to be heavy. So it's Avenir heavy. And then we can actually type out what we want with a special thanks. Once we complete that, that's all we want to do on that particular line. But then we want to go in and select the text box again and make two small text boxes, but we're going to duplicate. So we're going to go in back to the text box here. We're going to measure the font to see what size that is. Once again, that's going to be an Avenir. It's going to be a smaller font size. We're going to draw the text box the way that we want it, the size we want it. It's a little bit thick there, a little bit wide. We can go back and resize that in a minute. And we'll put in a couple lines that we want, and then we're just going to duplicate that one. So we're going to hold down control on the Windows and duplicate it, or we can hold down option on the Macintosh. So we're getting the font set up the size that we want it. We'll type in those two, and then we'll go back up and use our select tool to get to that. So we'll just put in a couple of lines of text here. And you'll be creative whenever you do this assignment. You will go in and look at some ideas, look at some samples. So we're going to just pull that over a little bit. Now we're going to hold down Option and Shift on a Mac, or Control and Shift on a Windows machine. That's going to allow you to duplicate and to keep it on the same plane as you're dragging it. So you're just holding down Option and Shift and Control and Shift and dragging it, so that way it'll duplicate, so that way you have this one. And now you can go in, we'll select both of these, and we will group them. We hold down Shift and select both of them to group. And now we can go and align those center to the page. We can take it and drag it until we get the pink guide marker